And good evening, good morning, good night to wherever you are in the world. Welcome to this special edition of Broken Not Shattered. This is your host, Ike O. And my guest today is Jessica, who's actually from California. How you doing, Jesse?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. What's the weather like over there?
Bright, sun shining, and hot.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yes,
I have friends of mine who are in the UK. My family actually in the UK, and they're all complaining they're going through a lot of heat waves.
yes.
And uh, most homes in the UK are not built like homes in the US where you have air conditioning. So
Mm,
it's a nightmare down that way. So for all our folks in the UK, our prayers are still out there. Hopefully, you get some sunshine, some rain sometime soon that will cool down the atmosphere over there.
yes,
And stay hydrated, guys. Stay hydrated.
yes.
Jessica, we're talking about mental health, and we've been on this topic most of the month. Different angles. You'll be the first female we'll have on this topic.
Okay, awesome.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Jesse.
Well, my name is Jessica Ellis Baldwin. I am a mental health therapist and coach. I've been in the field about 14 years and I love it. It's my passion. I'm originally from Memphis, Tennessee, but I lived in Cleveland, Ohio most of my life. And I'm just music, mental health, fashion. That pretty much sums me up. Those three things, it just sums me up in a nutshell.
Well, well, that's good. I like the combination between music and mental health. Uh,
Hmm.
always a synergy when they say, good music can actually help um, with your mental health and mental well-being.
Yeah.
I love jazz, and so every time I find myself stressed out, I'll put on some gospel music or some jazz music and just begin to realign myself.
Yes. Yes.
Um, all my guests in the last couple of weeks have actually been male,
Mm.
uh, and it's nice to have a female perspective of what's going on out there. My first question to you, then, Jessica, is in your experience, do you think men generally are less likely than women to reach out when they have mental health challenges or when they need support? And if so, why?
Yes, both statistically and from experience, I've seen that men do struggle more to reach out for help. I think primarily we're just wired different. That's one major reason, right? Males and females are just wired differently. I don't know if you've ever read the book "Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus," but in the book they kind of talk about you go to Venus and women are just holding hands and in
Yep.
circles and you
You go
need
to
help,
Mars.
sis. But you go to Mars,
It's a different
everybody
ball
in
game.
their caves, right? Everybody's in their caves. Nobody offers to help. If
Yeah.
if my brother need help, he'll come ask me.
Hmm.
So that's one thing. But also, I think that how we're raised, honestly, I posted recently on my social media that we tell little boys, don't cry, but we tell grown men, let it out. Well, that grown man was once that same little boy that you told suck it up.
Yeah, yep, yeah, yeah.
So I think both of those play a huge part in that.
The don't cry approach to life. Do you think it's cultural? Do you think certain demographics raise their boys that way than others? In other words, racially, would you say that in the African American community, you might see more people telling their boys, suck it up, don't cry,
Hmm.
and in other communities, they will say to their little boys, what's going on, little Johnny? Express
Yeah,
yourself
yeah,
more."
yeah.
Do you
I
think?
definitely believe that it's more prevalent in the African American community, and that is definitely cultural. One thing I often speak of is that it points back to slavery. Honestly, just holistically, we didn't have time to cry.
Yeah.
We didn't have time to wallow in our feelings about what was going on. We were trying to survive,
Mhm.
right? And so when you really think about that, it traveled down through generations. That whole come on, get it together. We got to get through this. We ain't got time to cry about this. We got to worry about how we gonna survive tomorrow. And so culturally, we've been wired to be in survival mode all the time. always having to figure it out, always having to try to search for an answer instead of just being taught how to sit in our emotions.
Sit in your emotions. Is that a good thing to do as an expert? That we sit in our emotions?
Absolutely. Because this is the thing, your emotions are a part of you. And so when you avoid them, you're really avoiding yourself. And how is that honoring yourself? I teach people, honor your emotions. It's an extension of who you are. Now we need to learn emotional regulation, right? Increase our emotional intelligence. Absolutely. But to avoid, what is that really solving? And I usually use this analogy of sweeping stuff under the rug, right? We keep sweeping it under the rug. After a while, that rug is gonna start puckering up.
Yep. And you over too.
Yeah, you pull that rug up, all that stuff is still up under there. You got to be able to deal with it, face it, sit in your emotions, and maybe a better way to say it is honor your emotions. Honor it.
Okay, so I had another question for you. Before I go there, I feel strongly that if you can take a few minutes and explain to our audience what it means, or what it looks like to actually honoring your emotions. We hear these words, they come across as buzzwords. Those of us who are not in that field, you're an expert in this area.
Yes.
If I was to come to you and you say, I honor your emotions, what would that look like?
It would look like you literally receiving and accepting. And so I'm a visual person, so a lot of times I give visual examples, but you have to literally see your emotions as characters or as friends. Unfortunately, we see our emotions as enemies, which is why we avoid them, right? We want to get rid of anger. We want to get rid of sadness. And as an expert and therapist, I don't tell my clients to get rid of anything because we were born with all this stuff. It's innate within us. We were born angry. You ever seen a baby come out the mother's womb laughing and
no, it comes out crazy.
Right. So we were born angry. Why? Because babies come, they're exposed to a new atmosphere. They now have to breathe air when they've been in fluid. They're now in the light when they've been in darkness.
That's right.
So any transition from one state to another, change is frustrating, even when it's best for us. And so because we're born with this stuff, I don't tell adults get rid of it. I say accept it, receive it. And that's what honoring it means. It's like accepting the fact that this is a part of who you are. You were born with it. And so looking at it as a friend, I welcome. Anxiety is something I've been dealing with my whole life. And I learned that fighting it was the worst thing I could do. Anxiety won every time. But when I said, come on, have a seat. What you doing here today? And now take power back, control back. And I tell anxiety how long it can stay. I tell anxiety, not right now. I'm kind of in the middle of something, but I'll get back to you. That's what I mean by honoring it. It's a friend.
I like the way you said it. You tell anxiety, not right now. I'll get back to you.
That's emotional intelligence right there.
Yeah. And so what does anxiety do then? He says, okay, see you later. I'll come back.
It lingers around, but this is what I think. Me fighting it, I don't want it. I don't want to avoid it. It's going to keep fighting me back. But when I relinquished and I said I surrendered to or honored it, like, you know what? You are a part of my life, but I get to say how you will be in my life. I get to speak to that instead of you guiding me. I got it. It doesn't make my decisions for me. So
it doesn't control you.
Not anymore.
Yeah, you are the one. You said not anymore. So there was a time it did control you.
Absolutely. And that's what dealing with anxiety and depression and those type of things. That's what it comes with. It's about control. Okay. It wants to be in the driver's seat. Right. You know, it wants to drive how you think, the decisions you make. The direction you turn. It's gonna keep you in the house today because it's present. No. Come on, we going to the store.
Wow.
You can come with me since you're here.
I was gonna say that. So Zach gets in the car and says, okay, let's go together, right?
But you sit in, you gotta move from the driver's seat.
The back street.
Before it got to the back seat, though, it was in the passenger seat. But then, and then he got in the back seat, but it's about me, being able to manage
That's good.
something that is a huge part of my life. Anxiety has just been a part of my life. And once I could just accept that, then I can honor it. And now I have more say so. I have the say so in how this dynamic is going to work.
Wow. Okay. I like the analogy you gave. I hope someone else listening and can actually take the level of emotional intelligence that Jessica had just expressed to see these things, emotions. There was a what's that movie? Inside Out. I
Oh,
remember
the best.
that was the best. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
I
true.
love
That's what I was like. Yeah, yeah. Inside Out. So if you haven't watched Inside Out, guys, just go check it out. It's called Inside Out. It's an animation of different emotions. I won't spoil the story for those who haven't seen it. I think it hit home for me, and I told
Mhm.
everyone around me to, hey, check this out. They use the best way to communicate to get that message across. Awesome.
Yeah, and watch this, and I'm not spoiling it, but watch this. There's a scene in the movie. I can't remember if it's in Inside one or two,
Okay, go ahead. I'll help you out.
but there's sadness, right?
Hmm.
They didn't try to get rid of sadness. They
Mm.
just contained it.
Yeah, yeah,
At
yeah.
one point, there's a scene where Joy just draws a circle around it and says, "Stay right here."
Yeah, yeah. Don't
But at
go.
a point,
Yeah,
sadness was actually needed on the journey. This is why you can't get rid of it. Don't get
yes,
rid of it. You need that.
yeah, yeah. Wow.
It makes us human. It makes us who we are.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, guys. Yeah, check it out. That's a plugin for Inside Out,
Yeah.
the animation. Let's get back to the mental health. Someone just asked a question, Jessica, and I'll read the question as it came through. It says, as a mental health expert, why is it important to recognize that not all self-harm is suicidal, and not all suicidal thoughts involve self-harm? Okay, a good question.
Yes. Yes. So the mistake a lot of people, I think it's important that everyone is not that most people attempt to be clinically competent. And so that doesn't just apply to experts and therapists and psychologists. It's important for all of us to be able to learn so that we know what we're seeing when we have a friend or a family member that's going through these things. But a self-harm and suicidal are not synonymous. Typically, someone who engages in self-harm is trying to reduce their emotional pain. So they inflict physical pain on themselves in order to not deal with the emotional pain is too much to bear. And
Wow.
so physical pain is now what we call a distraction. It's to shift their attention away from.
Oh, wow.
It does not necessarily mean that they want to
Kill
commit suicide.
suicide. Right.
No,
Wow.
no. Now, to your point about suicidal thoughts, this is why. So typically, professionals such as myself, when I have a client who's going through these things, I don't automatically, panic and go in crisis mode, like, oh my God, they want to kill themselves. There's a series of questions that we ask.
Yes.
So you have thoughts.
Mhm.
Okay. How long do they stay when you get them? Are they fleeting? Are they flighty thoughts? Do they stay for a few hours? When's the last time you had them? How often do they come? Is it every day, once a week? All of that matters in how I assess a client and come to my conclusion.
Right.
Then I ask them, do you have means? Do you have a way to follow through?
That's right. The plan.
Do you have a plan?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have intention?
That's
Those
right.
three things are your golden tickets.
That's right. Yeah.
Plan, means, intention.
That's right.
And based off their response lets me know on a scale, because there are scales, how severe this crisis is or how non-severe it is. And when I say non-severe, I don't mean less of importance,
Mhm.
but how we approach the situation. What level of care do they need in order to kind of deviate their attention away from following through with something like that? Hopefully I answered the question.
No, you did. You did very well. You did very well. Yeah, because that's the question most of my psychotherapists and psychiatrist friends and family would
Mm-hmm.
always say, is there a means? Is there a plan? All that kind of stuff. Bear in mind, if someone says they want to jump off the Golden Bridge and they live in Washington, D.C., well, have you been to California? Are
Right,
you are
right.
you anywhere near San Francisco, right? So, what's the plan? How you plan to get there? And when you get there, what are you? So, and in that conversation, you can find
Mhm.
out if somebody's is genuinely serious about making
And
that.
we even ask questions like, "Are you afraid to die?" Is there anything that would keep you from doing it? Like, are you scared of death? And those that we call protective factors. So in this situation, fear is a very good, like, I need you to tell me that you're actually scared of death. You know what I'm saying? That reassures me, like, whew, okay. So we're further away from actually following through if there's some protective factors in there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So do you get people like this on a regular basis, or is it just an off chance in this?
I do. Yeah, I do. Because, well, a lot of my experience in the mental health field has actually been working with what we call co-occurring disorders, which is having a mental health disorder and substance abuse disorder. Okay. So it's co-occurring or a dual diagnosis. Right. And so they deal with both. And so having a lot of clients in my experience deal with substance and mental health, and having both of those challenges, I do come across a lot of individuals that are full of shame and guilt, and they feel like burdens, and they just be better off, dead. And so it's unfortunate. And I've actually had a client pass away, maybe one or two in my experience that I know of. There may be some I don't know of that have passed away because of that.
Wow. Well, keep on doing the good work you do. I know it's not easy. I've done some work in that field. And like I said earlier on when we were talking, part of what I do on a daily basis is working with children and adults with autism. And sometimes they come with different diagnoses, not just autism, but there might be other things that they're dealing with too. Well, okay.
Yeah, that was tough. That was tough. I actually, and really quick, so the last client that I lost, I remember meeting with him maybe a week before he followed through. And there was something inside me that knew that there was nothing, because this is the thing, there's nothing you can say. Once their mind is made up, there's almost, and you have to be watchful for this too, sometimes there's a calm. It's not always chaotic moment. There's a calm and there's a peace because they've already decided. And men are 4 times more likely to follow through than women. So me knowing that stat, I was like, man, he's already gone. Yeah. So yeah, that was difficult.
One of my guests from the UK, you can go back to the show and watch what he said, because he's in the same field with you, but he was talking from his own personal experiences. And he said that he decided to make an attempt on his own life, because at that time in his headspace he felt he was better off gone than actually staying. In other words, him being around was an interruption to everyone else's peace and tranquility. So he felt it was better for him to just make the attempt and leave. And he tried, but he did not succeed. I think that was the case in his Yeah. And before then, the mother that we had said her son was 17 and very quiet and very calm, went and took his own life.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
they lose hope.
Yes. It's a hopeless situation.
It's a hopeless situation.
Yeah. And I think, that hopelessness is when you get to the point where you feel, okay, there's no need for me just to be here. I'm better off gone, kind of thing. I heard someone say that the irony of the suicidal thoughts and everything else, that most of the time the trauma had already taken place and the individual had already overcome it to that point. But for some reason, the mind keeps on making you feel it is so present and it's so current that you can't live it. If a child has been traumatized as a kid, and now you're an adult, you've lived all these years overcoming it, whether it was a struggle or not, but you've done so, and now you're trying to take your life.
Yes.
But you've done 10 years with it, but the thought keeps on, the shame and all the things that come along with it.
Yeah, the shame and guilt can be unbearable.
Yes. So you get to that point, they say, I can't do this anymore. And the situation begins to look hopeless, and they just check out. Well, at this point in time, I just feel led to speak to the cameras, and if anybody else is out there who's struggling with this challenge, of your mental health and your mental well-being. I'm not an expert, Jessica is, but I can plead with you, just seek help. There's always help out there. Someone is out there. I think in the US it's 988 for us, isn't it? Yeah, so just pick up the phone, dial 988, look for a Jessica or Jessica herself, wherever she is, and just engage. Most professionals will first of all take you in and talk to you before they start talking about the economics and the business side of what they're doing, because for them to do it, they're passionate about to make sure you don't make that attempt. Your family loves you, your friends love you, you are very special, you're very unique. Please seek help. And if you don't feel okay, it's okay not to be okay, but seek help.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. All right. Do you think the best part to healing requires us to go through those struggles?
When Ask it again.
So, do you think that the best path for us to get healed requires for us to go through those struggles
Mm,
and not
yes,
over them?
yes. I don't like to tell people to get over something. I think we use it just flippantly, like, oh, you need to get over that. You need to go over there. But when you really think about what you're saying, getting over something really just causes us to be numb. But to go through something actually lands us in a place of healing.
I think
And a
so.
lot of people avoid being healed because they don't want to go through it.
Yeah.
They don't want to go through because healing is painful. I tell people all the time, like, I don't know if you thought this was going to be all peachy keen and like running through a field of roses, but no, healing is painful. Look at physical healing, for
Mm-hmm.
example. That is a
Mm-hmm.
painful process. If you've ever had to go to physical, I remember getting in a car crash one time and I had to go to physical therapy. I thought that physical therapy was going to be nice relaxation massages. Boy, was I in for a rude awakening to find out that it was painful. They're going to stretch parts of you that are still tender, and you know what I mean? So, but I had to do it if I wanted to actually heal from the initial trauma.
Wow. Wow. You're right. I think that's a good place for us to take a break, Jessica. And when we come back, it's going to be a short break. So when we come back, we'll finish up the rest of the questions.
Yes, sir.
Please hang around as we go back for a short break. And we are back. All right, Jessica, we're back on the BNS. Our guest is Jessica Ellis. How do you pronounce the last name? Borgin?
Bulging.
Bolgin.
Yes.
Bolgin. Bolgin. There's a soccer player that's playing for the US. He's one of our top scorer. Are you watching the World Cup?
I'm not.
Okay. Well, soccer is.
I'm
Soccer is
ashamed.
no, that's okay. That's fine. That's fine. There's a lot of Americans who don't do it. I was born and raised in England, so soccer is our thing, you know. And there's a guy who's actually playing for the US. I think he's our top scorer. His name is Fararin Balogun. He's Nigerian, but he was born here in Brooklyn. And the commentators keep on calling him Balogun. Balogun.
Yeah, my name gets messed up all the time.
Oh, forget about mine. Mine is terrible. That's why I go with the word O.
Oh. But yeah, my husband may be watching the World Cup. He's Canadian Jamaican, so
okay, so definitely he's watching the World Cup. Oh no, if he has Jamaican in him, he's definitely watching that World Cup. That's okay, yeah. So Balogun's name is Balogun, but they keep on calling him Balogun. I'm like, you're not making an attempt because it's very easy to pronounce. That's why I had to ask you, is it Borgin or Borgin? And you said it was Borgin. So there you go.
Yeah.
Borgin. Yeah. Okay. Oh gosh. All right. So next question. Someone asked a question. When you founded, oh, that's the name of your company's called Be All Right Wellness Center.
Yes.
So someone is following you. Okay. When you founded Be All Right Wellness Center, what gap in the mental health care were you determined to address? Wow. Okay. Someone knows this.
Well, first of all, I think it's important to talk about the name. One of the things that I would always say over years when I was in Cleveland was, it's going to be all right. it's going to be all right. I always, that's like my mantra. I wrote a song about it and everything. I was like, it's gonna be all right. And so typically when I'm going through things, people will remind me like, hey, you said it was gonna be all right. They'll put use my words on me.
Oh, wow.
And so when I was trying to figure out a name, I've always wanted an agency, and I still don't have a building, but I see it. I have a vision. And so couldn't figure out a name, and I was like, I feel like God was like, Jessica, it's be all right. That's what you say all the time. It's gonna be all right.
You're right.
So I want people's wellness to be all right. That's my mission, is for people to have hope. I don't want them to lose hope. Whatever it is, it may not be all right, but it's gonna be all right.
Wow.
And my vision is to bridge the gap for mental health. Like a lot of people just don't, with my experience, I worked in treatment centers a lot. And I noticed that after they're done with their 30, 60, 90 days in treatment, they don't have anywhere to continue services. And so, just jumping from that to a one-on-one with a therapist, I mean, okay, but it's not truly effective, what I've seen. And so they're just sent home with packets and just remember your coping skills. And so what my vision for Be All Right Wellness is to attain a building that actually continues services for people, where everything you learned in treatment, all the coping skills, you can actually practice it at my wellness center. So we'll have groups, continued groups, and we'll have, so you can continue, because 30, 60, 90 days is really not a lot of time. That's really just the beginning of you starting this journey. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's really what the vision is for it.
That's good. Can I? No. Yes. I'm going to throw my gut feeling on this, sis.
Okay.
So while you were talking about the building, right? And you can definitely see the building. I heard the building is here already. So, and I was like, no, that's not my business. That's not what I'm here for. But and then the second time I heard it again, the business is here already. And so the building is here already. So I was like, okay, what does that actually mean? And that's why I said I was going to talk about it. But then it says, online is your platform. You can reach more people virtually than you can reach in a structured location. So while the building is there, when you step off this camera, when we finish this, go to your quiet time, and I can sense that there's an energy you're giving as we're speaking. Find your quiet place and let them show you that virtual building. It's about, in today's world, it's about convenience. People pay for solutions. People will pay for solutions. They will pay for convenience. And trust me, they will pay for experience. You already have the experience, right? So now they want the solution, whatever you're going to do to get my pain away. And then you creating a right platform can get people all over the world, regardless of where they are, with a click of a button coming into your building. You can have what I do here called peer mentoring programs, where we mentor families who are going through that channel with autism when they get the diagnosis and they don't know where to go. They have people that come in from Cape Verde. There are people that come in from Lagos, Nigeria. There are people that come in from Alabama, people that come from, and they all plug in to this platform. If I had a building, that means I'll have to have a building in all those places. But when they plug in, they have a common goal. How do I navigate this? They're gonna have parents who have been in it for 10 years. There's those who just got diagnosis yesterday, and they just iron sharpens iron, and they guide themselves through. So as you were talking, and I don't normally do this in my show, but I just heard the building is already here. So go back into your quiet time, and maybe your platform is what you need to first of all get together and get the message out and draw the traffic into you. You are the resource, but you are a limited resource. So for you to reach more people and impact the world, this is it. Technology.
I needed that.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't part of the plan, but I needed that. And thank you for being obedient and speaking that. I receive it.
Yeah. So just do your thing. and find out how you can, make it work. All right.
I will.
Yeah. And then when the ching ching starts coming in, just 10%.
I'm gonna send an offering. I'm gonna send my offering. I'm gonna send my offering. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So let's move along to our last question. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Anyway, I know you're up to something great, and you will get the guidance you need, both naturally and spiritually, to get to that place.
Yes.
Keep
Yes.
up the great work. Yeah. So let's talk about coming home.
Mm.
Coming home. That's the name of the book.
Yes, that is the name of my new book coming.
What does that mean to you? Coming home, and where can people find Coming Home? Why did you write it? Coming Home, the title.
I wrote it because I was in the middle of my own healing journey. I did not want to come across, there's two things I wanted to avoid. I didn't want to write it in a place of pain, because I can tell when people writing, they're still wounded. And that's not helpful to anybody. But I also didn't want to come across like I have all the answers.
Right.
Like, hey, this is what I went through, and this is all you need to do, and check these boxes, because that wasn't the purpose either. I wanted people to get a raw healing version of me. And Coming Home was more so about everything I need. It speaks to what you just said, honestly, is right here. Like I was always searching. I'm going here, going there, going to him and her and all these different places. Everything I needed was right here the entire time. And I had to stop and go back inward to tap into my anointing, to tap into my gifts, my calling. The God I was looking for was here. The healing I'm looking for is here. It wasn't in all those relationships and the street life I tried to live, It was right here. This was home. And I was longing for something, and everything I needed was right here all along.
Wow. So that's how you came with the title, Coming Home?
That's how I came up with the title. I wanted to stop searching for everything that was, God spoke to me and literally was just like, it's right. Home is, because I was like, where's home? Where is home? And I had identified home with my father a lot too, but he passed away. And that was a huge part of my heart that was just ripped up. Like, we were so close. I was a daddy's girl. We were best friends. And I talk about my grief in the book as well. And I was like, when he left, I was like, I don't have a home. I don't have a home. Was with him, but over time it was revealed to me that was not, while the relationship was beautiful and I'm grateful for that, that's not home. But and even talking about how my street life and coming home, coming back to God, and how I got back into that spiritual relationship, looking for him in all the wrong places. So yeah, everything points back to home.
Well, you want to share about your street life? Would you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up a preacher's kid. I grew up in the church, but it got to a point where I actually hated it. I didn't want to be a preacher's kid. I hated his job. Loved him, but I hated what he did because I didn't like the attention it came with. But yet I went and sought attention
other ways. Yeah.
In another world.
Yeah.
But I was out in the street for a long time. I was a single mom, teenage mom. I was a teen pregnancy. Got involved with the wrong people, wrong crowds, gangs, gang members, a lot of domestic violence. I mean, that lifestyle is just a rabbit hole. If you step into it, it is so hard to come out. And so I was literally hanging in the streets, in the hood, for no good reason, and got addicted to substances. But I was still coming to church because there was still a tug on my heart. That spiritual part of me never left. I tell people all the time, I don't care where I was, what crack house I was in, what corner I was on, what man I was with. God was with me the whole time. I felt he annoyed me.
Yeah.
Until I turned my face back to him and said yes.
Yeah.
I really wanted him to leave me alone.
Yeah. What is it again that the scripture says? It says, train up a child in the way they grow, and as they get older, they will never depart from it.
Yes.
Once you plant that seed,
Yes, parents, if you have planted the seed, let them go, because I promise you, I heard my parents' voice everywhere I was. No matter how far I went, no matter how dark it was, I heard the training happened.
Mm.
And I promise you, you got to trust that your voice will be heard in those dark spaces.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you.
Hmm.
I agree with you. That's good. And look at you now doing great work.
Thank you so much.
When he do it,
God is so good. He's so good. He never turned his back on me.
yes, he does. Jessica, thank you so much for making out time to speak to our guests and our audience. I'm going to ask you two more things, and then we can wrap up the show. The
Yeah.
first thing I'm going to do is take a minute, take a moment, look in the camera, and speak to anyone you feel led speaking to, whether it's men, women, kids, or everyone. And just take a minute and just share with them and encourage them and empower them and inspire them and give them a sense of hope.
To everyone that is watching me right now, you matter and your peace is non-negotiable. Those are the two things I want you to take from this. You matter and your peace is non-negotiable. Anything or anyone that is costing you your peace, it's too expensive. Your peace has to be your priority. Your mental health is non-negotiable. It's nothing you need to explain about it. It has to be your number one priority. And that is because you matter. And there's nothing you can do. You can't enjoy enough money or possessions if your mental health is not together. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to call 988 if you're at that point of crisis. It is okay. It's okay. What you feel is absolutely normal. God understands it. God sees you, and there's nothing he can't do for you, and everything is going to be all right.
Wow, thank you so much. And the last but not the least is what we call the drop-off question. Every
Okay.
time we have a guest come in, we ask the person who is about to leave the show, like the last guest, what for a drop-off question. They don't know who's coming in after them on the next guest, but you have to answer that question. And then you, the expert in mental health, will now have to do your own drop-off question for whoever is coming in. And we don't know who they are, male, female, boys.
Oh,
Yep. And so they just have to answer that question. So your drop-off question was, what's a risk? What's the risk you're glad you took? What's the risk that you are so glad you took?
ooh, that is good.
Yep. And we're waiting.
Okay, the risk I'm glad that I took is, so in August of last year, I was actually fired from my job. I've never been fired in my whole life. In December, I felt this in my spirit to stop applying for jobs. Don't apply for any more jobs, because what I want you to do is, you are called to the marketplace. And the biggest risk I took was actually trusting God. That is a risky thing. And I have not applied for any more jobs. I have no idea how we're making it and how we're going to make it. But I am in a risky situation right now.
Now that's big.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you heard him say don't apply for any more jobs, don't apply. He's got you. There's a path you're about to take.
He's
And I
closed every
believe
door.
something's gonna give. You just watch and see. Where can people find you, Jessica? Let's channel this audience to your platform. Where can people
My
find you?
Instagram is Jessica Ellis Bulgin, just the whole name without the dash. And right now, I mean, honestly, if you want to, my website is bealrightwellness.com. So
Bealrightwellness.com.
yes, so if you guys go on bealrightwellness.com, you will see all my services, whether that be for therapy, for coaching, or if you want to purchase my book, you can also send just a contact information, fill out the contact form, let me know, and I will ship it to you directly.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna try and get one of your books. That's where I'm gonna start supporting, and then hopefully all those who have listened to this show and those who are gonna watch it afterwards, it's bealrightwellness.com.
Yes.
Correct? All right. So if you're looking for Jessica, Please take advantage of all that she has to offer. Thank you so much for your time. Jessica, what is your own drop off question?
My drop off question is, what is the best piece of advice that you have ever been given,
Wow.
whether you listen to it or not?
What is the best piece of advice you have ever been given?
Yes.
Okay. All right, guys. On that note, we're going to wrap up today's show. Our guest all the way from California. Jessica, it's been a joy having you around and
Thank you
listening to
so
you.
much.
Wow, it was very, very insightful. And I believe great things are going to come out of this show. To all our guests all over the world, thank you for all your support. Please continue to follow us on Instagram and all social media handles on the BNS podcast, especially on YouTube. Subscribe, like, and click the notification button so that the next time we go on, you get to know what's going on. Share the platform with your friends. We've been doing this for 4.5 years. Very soon it'll be 5 years. We've been working it every Sunday. Come rain, come sunshine, backache, headache. We try to show up. And there's a reason why we do that, because we believe that someone out there matters, and we're going to keep on doing what we have to do. Jessica, on behalf of everyone who's on the back end, we want to say a big thank you. And to my team, I want to say thank you guys for not giving up on this platform. In our special 3 words, as we come to the end of the show: more peace, more grace, and more love. Take care, Jesse. Bye.